Recently, NaNoWriMo addressed the use of AI in their official policy. They've stated that you're welcome to use AI during the event, but if you do, you can't officially win NaNoWriMo. This means that if you hit the 50,000 word mark and AI helped you get there, you won't be eligible for the traditional NaNoWriMo rewards like the winner's certificate or badges. The reasoning behind this is simple. NaNoWriMo is about personal creativity and pushing your own limits. Using AI to generate a significant portion of your novel takes away from the spirit of that challenge. But here's where things get tricky for neurodiverse writers. For many of us, NaNoWriMo is really hard. Whether it's executive dysfunction, getting overwhelmed by ideas, or just struggling with focus, just starting or maintaining momentum on a project like this can be really difficult. And in these cases, AI can feel like a helpful assistant, someone to bounce ideas off of when your brain feels like it's stuck in the mud. Maybe you're not using it to write entire scenes, but just to brainstorm or unblock yourself. Should that be considered cheating? In this video, we're diving deep into the controversy around AI in writing, especially during NaNoWriMo. And we'll explore how AI impacts creativity, whether it's cheating or just another tool, and most importantly, how writers like us can navigate these debates to make AI and NaNoWriMo work for you. Not just for this one book, but for all your future books as well.
So who am I? I'm Delin Blake, a neurodivergent published author, book coach, and former ghostwriter of over 200 books. You can check me out at delinblake.com. And I'm going to share with you my experiences of the best ways to write books, even when you're ADHD and autistic like me and work a full-time job. Because the modern world makes it easier than ever for us to achieve our author dreams. And I have a free gift for you. Be sure to check it out in the description below. It's going to make writing go so much faster and easier and give you the clarity you need.
So here's the big question. Does AI ruin creative writing? Let's be real. It's hard to ignore all the talk going on in the writing community right now. People are debating whether using AI tools like ChatGPT to come up with story ideas or even help write parts of your novel is actually cheating. I mean, the whole point of NaNoWriMo is to push yourself creatively, right? To see if you can hit that 50,000 word goal by the end of the month. But what happens if some of those words aren't really yours? Some people think that's cheating. They believe AI takes away from the authenticity of the challenge. I get that. The idea of using something that generates words for you seems like it's breaking the rules, or at least bending them, but others don't see it that way. They argue that AI is just another tool, like a dictionary, a grammar checker, or even Google when you need to fact-check something. It doesn't write the story for you, it just helps you get unstuck. That's how I personally feel about it. But for writers like us, this whole debate gets even more complicated. On one hand, AI can be a lifesaver when you're staring at a blank page and your brain refuses to cooperate. I've been there too. Brain fog, distractions, that feeling like you just can't get started. AI can swoop in and give you a push in the right direction. But on the flip side, if you lean on it too much, it might start to feel like you're not actually writing your own story anymore. The last thing you want is for it to take over your creative voice. And this is a real problem for writers like us because of one simple thing. It's common to hate your own voice, even in writing. You might feel like your writing isn't good enough or doesn't sound the way you want it to. You think that when you get better, when you're more experienced, more polished, your voice will magically improve. But here's the truth. It will never sound better to you because the part you're waiting to change is actually a core part of who you are. What you're trying to fix isn't just a skill set, it's your unique way of thinking, processing, and creating. And when we first start to rely on AI, it can overtake that voice pretty easily. After all, AI doesn't struggle with insecurity. It doesn't doubt itself or overthink every sentence.
Have something you want me to cover in the future? Want to respond or have a question about something I said? Comment below.
So, when you're feeling like your words aren't good enough, it's tempting to let the AI do more of the work because it feels smoother and more polished. But smoother isn't always better. It's just less you. For writers like us, this can be especially tough because we're often our own worst critics. We might feel like our thoughts are too messy or scattered, or that we can't focus enough to write something coherent. And while AI can help organize and streamline those ideas, it's important to remember that the messiness is part of what makes your voice yours. Your unique perspective, your quirks, the way your mind jumps from one idea to another, that's the gold. It might feel rough around the edges, but that's exactly what makes it authentic. If we let AI take too much control, we risk losing that part of ourselves in our writing. Instead of using it to enhance our voice, we might start hiding behind it, thinking it sounds more professional or perfect than we ever could. But perfection isn't the goal here. Connection is.
I hope you're enjoying the video so far and that you've gotten some aha moments. If so, remember to like to see more content like this.
Readers connect to stories that feel real, that show the writer's vulnerability and humanity. AI might be able to generate a flawless sentence, but it can't replace the emotional depth and raw honesty that comes from you. So, yes, AI can help. It can support you when your brain is fried or your focus is shot. But don't let it drown out your voice. Because no matter how hard it is to embrace, that voice is exactly what makes your writing worth reading. This is a problem I personally ran into when I started using AI as a co-creator for my Flames of the Gods fantasy romance series. Especially since I wanted to change my voice for this series, make it a little more formal and a little less casual, unlike my horror novels. This new voice was modeled after how Regency romances are written. I chose it because it felt right for a fantasy romance series set in ancient Greece. But thankfully, my developmental editor could tell the difference between my true formal voice and the AI's voice. And they put me back on the right path to merge the two to make something better while still keeping my own unique voice. So let's take a look at how AI can help without letting it take over your voice. Overcoming writer's block. For writers like us, writer's block isn't just about struggling to find the right idea. It's about executive dysfunction or anxiety around starting. That blank page can be intimidating, and sometimes it's not about lack of ideas, but the mental energy it takes to get words flowing. AI can be a tool to help you push through the starting line by providing a few sentences or a first draft. It gives you something to react to, which can feel less daunting than starting from nothing. You might ask AI to write the first few lines of a scene or summarize an idea you have. Then you take over. By giving you something to react to, AI can help lower the pressure and make starting feel more manageable. It's a way to break the ice when your brain feels frozen. Brainstorming. You know that moment when you're staring at the blank page and no ideas are flowing? It's like your brain is completely frozen. AI can step in and give you a push. You can ask it to generate ideas, create dialogue, or help you flesh out a vague concept that's been rattling around in your mind. The trick here is to use AI to get unstuck, but not let it take over. Think of it as a jumping-off point. Let it spark something, but then take that spark and run with it in your own direction. For example, if you're stuck on how to start a scene, AI might suggest a setting or some dialogue. That's great, but instead of copying it word for word, ask yourself, how would I say this? What does this idea inspire in me? AI is a great way to get your creative juices flowing, not to use as a substitute for your own creativity, visualizing concepts and world building. For those who struggle with keeping track of complex worlds, characters, or plot lines, AI can help visualize your ideas. If you're trying to map out a fictional world or nail down the finer points of a character's backstory, AI can help organize those thoughts. You can feed AI key details about your setting or characters, and it can help generate more depth or even propose possible connections between plot points that hadn't crossed your mind. Again, the trick is to use this as a collaborative tool. AI helps bring the big picture into focus, but you're the one creating the actual world and story.
By the way, I have a free gift for you that's going to supercharge your writing and give you the clarity you need to move forward on your book. You can get it in the description of the video below.
Dialogue generation. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the idea of a scene that we struggle to execute it, especially dialogue. AI can be useful here by suggesting how a conversation might flow between characters. But as always, don't just accept what AI gives you. Ask yourself, does this sound like how my characters would speak? Use the AI's dialogue as a springboard to dig deeper into your characters' personalities and voices. For example, maybe AI suggests a simple line, but you realize that your character would be much more sarcastic or emotional in that moment. Use the AI to kickstart the conversation, then reshape it into your own vision. Idea expansion. If you've got a seed of an idea but don't know how to grow it into a full-fledged scene or chapter, AI can help you brainstorm what might happen next. For example, you can feed it a brief summary of your current situation, and it can suggest where the story might go. This is useful for generating options when your brain is feeling scattered or overwhelmed. Maybe the AI gives you 3 potential plot twists. You can look at them and decide, this one feels off, but I could tweak the second one. The goal here is not to copy what AI offers, but to open up possibilities when you're feeling stuck. Using AI for feedback or editing assistance. For writers like us, it's often hard to look at your work objectively. After all, you're so close to it that every sentence feels like it needs tweaking. AI can be a helpful tool for editing by pointing out grammatical errors, offering suggestions for clearer phrasing, or helping you find repetition. But the key here is that AI is giving you suggestions, not final decisions. You still need to read through those suggestions and decide if they align with your voice and the tone of your story. It's about polishing your work, not letting AI overwrite it. Let's take a step back and think about how you can get the most out of NaNoWriMo without feeling like AI is taking over your process. AI can be helpful, but it's essential to stay in control of your writing so your unique voice shines through. Here's how you can keep that balance. Set boundaries for AI use. One of the best ways to keep AI from overshadowing your creativity is to set clear boundaries on how you'll use it. Maybe you decide that AI is just for brainstorming or outlining, nothing more. For example, you can ask it to help generate plot ideas when you're stuck or give suggestions for organizing a messy story structure. But when it comes to actually writing the scenes or dialogue, that's all you. Another approach is to let AI help when you're completely blocked, but make a promise to yourself. If AI writes something for you, you'll either delete it later or rewrite it in your own words. This way, AI is just a temporary crutch to get you moving, but the final product will still come from you. Boundaries like this will help you use AI as a tool, not as a replacement for your creative process. Prioritize your voice. As a writer, your voice is your most important asset, especially as a neurodiverse creator. Your way of thinking, your quirks, and your personal experiences all combine to create something no AI can replicate. Even if AI can spit out 1,000 words in seconds, those aren't your words unless they come from your unique perspective. AI might make things sound polished or more perfect, but writing that feels overly smooth often lacks the personality and depth readers connect with. Remember, the imperfections in your voice, the unexpected turns of phrase, the emotional truths, the way you see the world, are what make your writing interesting. Don't be afraid of those quirks. Embrace them. You might be tempted to fix things with AI, especially when you feel insecure about how your voice sounds, but the truth is, that voice is you, and no amount of AI tweaking will make it better because it's already valuable the way it is. AI is a great way to support your voice, not to erase it. The human touch matters. Now, one of the biggest criticisms of AI-generated writing is that it feels robotic or soulless. And that's true, because it is. AI doesn't have emotions, life experiences, or real thoughts. It's just pulling from patterns and data, and while it can produce well-formed sentences, it can't replicate the heart behind those words. That's where you come in. As a neurodiverse writer, you bring something to the table that AI simply can't. Whether it's the way your brain jumps from one idea to another, the personal experiences you infuse into your characters, or the depth of emotion you put into your scenes, AI can't do that. Only you can. The human touch is what makes writing feel alive, real, and worth reading. When AI supports you instead of leading, your writing stays authentic. So, while AI might help you shape your thoughts or refine your prose, always keep your emotional truth front and center. Readers connect to the parts of writing that feel real, and that's something AI will never be able to fake. NaNoWriMo can feel especially daunting, and AI might seem like a tempting shortcut. But as we've discussed, it's all about finding the balance. AI can help when you're stuck, but it's your unique voice and perspective that make your writing powerful. Don't lose that in the pursuit of perfection or convenience. The real challenge and reward of NaNoWriMo isn't just reaching 50,000 words, it's staying true to yourself along the way. So, as November rolls on and the word count adds up, Remember that whether you're writing with or without AI, the story you're telling is yours. And that's the whole point of NaNoWriMo, to discover, develop, and celebrate your creative voice. No AI can take that away from you. So explore, have fun, and learn new things about yourself and your story.
Until next time, this is Delin Blake saying write on and claim your free gift at the link below.